Hi, thanks for watching Peter's Food Adventures. Today I'm going to be making a sweet yeast dough recipe. Made from scratch, not like all the other recipes that I have on the website that use a bread maker. Of course, a bread maker is easy, just dump everything in and walk away. But there's something about the old-fashioned way of making dough as well. And you can adapt this to any of the sweet yeast dough recipes, from sweet yeast pies to piroshki, to shanyushki, or any other recipe you like. Okay, so to get started, I've got an instant yeast. Start with a tablespoon of the yeast. This is the lukewarm milk. I'm going to put about half of it in and just mix it all through so it starts to break down. And I'm going to add the salt, teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of sugar. Sugar is needed just to keep the yeast to activate, so it has something to feed on. That's all mixing through. And I'm going to add about half a cup of flour. And as this all mixes through, it's kind of going to have kind of a thick, kind of a glue almost consistency. And now we're just going to cover it with some cling wrap and let it sit and just do its thing. Now I'm just going to add in a separate bowl 2 eggs, the remaining sugar, it's another 5 tablespoons, and you can use melted butter, and that's quite often what I do, but today I'm just adding, this is sunflower oil. You can use vegetable oil, just don't use olive oil. And you just want to mix this all up together, just to break down the sugar, and add the milk, just so everything is broken down together and you don't have any chunky sugary bits, and you can be ready to pour that in. Now, you can see that the yeast has all started bubbling, it's starting to rise, and we know it is ready to go. And I am going to add in the egg mixture first. So now I'm just going to slowly add the flour. This recipe uses 4 cups of flour. I already used half a cup when I was mixing the yeast, so I only have 3.5 more cups to go. The liquids in a dough is always interesting because it depends on the size of your eggs. A lot of recipes use weights to measure a little more accurately, but even that isn't always as accurate because there's lots of variables. Specifically the size of the eggs, you might need to add more flour or add a little more liquid. And now it's ready to knead. Okay, so now we're just gonna let the dough rise. I'm gonna put it in a bowl. I'm gonna cover it with more cling wrap. And ideally you want it to rise twice. So you want it to punch it down and rise twice. So I'm just putting it into a warmed oven. If your room's temperature is really warm, great. If you have a fireplace, put it beside there. All right, the dough is now doubled in size. Beautiful. Now you want to punch it down, and really you want to let it do it again, but I'm in a hurry, so I'm only going to do it once with the rising. Having some issues, taking it out, and just gently knead it. At this stage, you don't want to over knead it. And that was it. That's how easy it was to make a sweet yeast dough recipe. Made from scratch, not like using my bread machine like most of my recipes were on the website. Now check out the recipe. It is full on my website with other ideas of what you can use this recipe for. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and click subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.